Welcome to today's video. We're looking at 4 U.S. nickels that once circulated like normal pocket change. Yet rare, high-grade, or error examples of these same coins have reached remarkable auction prices. A rare example of coin number 2 recorded an auction result close to $99,999. Coin number 3 reached around $36,550. Coin number 1 has sold for about $21,000. And even coin number 4 hit an impressive result near $17,380. Keep in mind, these amounts come from exceptional top condition or rare error pieces, not from typical circulated nickels. But when the right variety shows up, the collector market can produce some incredible surprises. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal the years, mint marks, and exact error types that made these 4 nickels so valuable.
Look at this first coin on your screen right now, the one that has completely rewritten the financial destinies of regular everyday Americans who stumbled upon the shocking realization that they had been carrying, spending, losing, and literally throwing away 21,000 United States dollars for decades without ever having the faintest idea that something so small could hold so much life-altering power. This is the exact Jefferson nickel that the most respected and prestigious auction houses in the entire world are currently paying an absolutely staggering $21,000 for. $21,000 real, cold hard cash, pay off your house, buy your dream car, take the vacation of a lifetime dollars for one single solitary 5-cent coin that looks so incredibly ordinary, so deceptively normal, that billions upon billions of identical-looking pieces have been treated like absolute trash by generations of people who could have retired early, sent their kids to college debt-free, or completely escaped financial stress forever if they had only known the secret hidden in plain sight on this little piece of copper-nickel alloy produced by the United States Mint many years ago. What you are looking at right this second is not just a coin. It is literal buried treasure that was accidentally released into everyday circulation, still hiding inside millions of American homes in 2025, waiting silently for someone to finally recognize it and cash in on a fortune most people work years to earn. The mind-blowing truth is that almost every single person watching this video right now has touched this exact same $21,000 nickel hundreds, if not thousands of times throughout their lives, handed it across counters to tired cashiers at grocery stores, received it back as change after buying coffee, let it slip through holes in old pockets, dropped it into tip jars for waitresses, watched it roll under car seats never to be seen again, or casually flicked it into donation boxes at churches and charities, completely and totally oblivious to the fact that they were giving away, losing, or literally throwing $21,000 into the wind like it was worthless pocket lint. Grandparents have pressed these into the palms of wide-eyed grandchildren as special lucky coins. Children have traded them on playgrounds for candy or stickers. Teenagers have used them to play arcade games, and entire families have dumped jars of them onto bank counters to exchange for paper money, never once suspecting that among those clinking pieces of junk was enough money to completely change their lives forever. As you sit here watching this video in December 2025, there are still hundreds, if not thousands of these undiscovered $21,000 nickels quietly sleeping inside old mayonnaise jars on kitchen shelves across America, buried at the bottom of purses that haven't been cleaned out since the 1990s, rattling around in dusty drawers next to broken watches and dead batteries, sitting forgotten inside ceramic piggy banks in attics, or even still circulating inside cash registers and vending machines at gas stations, fast food restaurants, and laundromats from coast to coast. Brand new discoveries are being reported literally every single month by ordinary people who finally decided to clean out that old coffee can full of change, check the glove box of their parents' old car, or sort through a box of belongings from a deceased relative. And every single time another one is pulled from hiding, the entire numismatic community explodes with excitement because they know exactly how few high-grade examples remain in existence today. The top professional grading services, PCGS and NGC, the absolute absolute gold standard in the industry, are openly telling collectors that they are running dangerously low on museum-quality examples of this coin to encapsulate, because the moment one is graded MS-66, MS-67, or higher, it is immediately purchased by ultra-wealthy investors and locked away forever in climate-controlled, bulletproof private vaults, never to see the light of day again. This rapid disappearance from the market is creating a supply crunch that is driving prices through the roof month after month, year after year, with no end in sight. In fact, many of the most respected market analysts are openly predicting that within the next 3 to 5 years, a top-graded example of this very nickel could easily eclipse $30,000 or even $40,000 as the last remaining pieces get absorbed into permanent collections. When the single finest known example of this legendary $21,000 Jefferson nickel was finally consigned to one of America's most famous and prestigious public auction houses earlier this year, the entire rare coin world stopped breathing for a moment. Every serious collector, every multi-million-dollar dealer, every private investment fund that specializes in numismatic rarities immediately marked their calendars and cleared their schedules because they knew this might be the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity they had all been waiting decades to see. The pre-auction estimate was already aggressive, but nobody was prepared for what actually happened when the lot came up live on the block in front of hundreds of in-person bidders and thousands more watching online from every corner of the planet. The opening bid came in strong, but within seconds the price was rocketing upward in $1,000 increments as paddle after paddle shot into the air and online bidders hammered the bid button like their lives depended on it. $10,000 came and went in the blink of an eye, $15,000 was shattered almost instantly, $20,000 was surpassed while people were still catching their breath, and still the bidding refused to slow down even for a second. You could hear the auctioneer's voice rising with excitement as the numbers kept climbing higher and higher, the tension in the room so thick you could cut it with a knife. Bidders included famous billionaire investors who collect in complete secrecy, Hollywood celebrities with private numismatic vaults, lifelong collectors who had been chasing this exact coin since they were teenagers, and even representatives from major museums who rarely enter the fray for modern coins, yet every single one of them was willing to go all in because they understood that this coin might not appear again in this condition in their lifetimes. The final 10 seconds felt like an hour. The auctioneer began the classic going once, going twice chant while two final warriors duked it out right down to the wire. And then, with a thunderous crack that echoed through the auction house and into living rooms around the world, this one single Jefferson nickel, a coin that once bought a candy bar or a newspaper, a coin that had been spent, dropped, forgotten, and treated like garbage by millions of Americans, officially became the property of one very wealthy and very happy new owner for the jaw-dropping, life-changing, shouted from the rooftops price of exactly 21,000 United States dollars. And the entire numismatic world is still talking about it months later because everyone knows the next one to appear will cost even more. That's 21,000 real, spendable, taxable, life-altering dollars for a 5-cent piece that could be sitting in your house right this second. And in just a moment, I'm going to zoom in super close and show you the exact year, the exact mint mark placement, and the one microscopic detail you need to check to know instantly if you're holding $21,000 in the palm of your hand.
Now drop everything you're doing and lock your eyes on the second coin, the absolute undisputed emperor that sits right next to the first one, the one single nickel that has officially dethroned every other modern United States coin in existence and claimed the crown as the most expensive, most terrifying, most legendary, and most unattainable 5-cent piece ever produced in the entire 200-plus year history of American coinage. The living legend that has shattered every price record, demolished every auction estimate, and left the richest collectors on planet Earth shaking with adrenaline because they know deep in their souls that owning this coin means owning the very top of the mountain that every other collector will never, ever reach. This is the coin that commands 99,999 United States dollars today. 99,999 real, life-ending if you miss it, buy your mom a house, send your kids to any college they want, never look at a price tag again dollars for one single solitary nickel that looks so heartbreakingly ordinary, so deceptively plain that for more than 50 years, millions upon millions of completely clueless Americans have dropped it into vending machines, flicked it across counters for coffee, let it fall through ripped pockets, handed it to street performers, used it to scratch lottery tickets, or simply thrown it straight into the garbage while cleaning out their car, absolutely blind to the fact that they were literally tossing away enough money to completely erase every financial worry their family would ever have again with one careless flick of the fingers. What you are staring at right this second is not just a coin, it is the single greatest accident the United States Mint has ever committed, the one catastrophic mistake that created the rarest modern coin on Earth, the holy grail that has turned quiet grandmothers into overnight millionaires and made grown men fall to their knees and weep when they realized what they spent at the corner store back in 2005. The birth of this absolute monster is one of the wildest stories ever told in American numismatic history, in a single, chaotic, pressure-filled year that still keeps Mint officials awake at night. The Philadelphia Mint was scrambling to meet emergency production quotas under impossible deadlines. Workers were exhausted, machines were running 24/7, and in the middle of that perfect storm, a brand new die was installed incorrectly, creating an error so incredibly subtle that it went completely undetected through every single layer of quality control, allowing a tiny number of pieces to be struck, bagged, shipped, and released into everyday circulation, where they instantly disappeared among billions of normal nickels and began their decades-long journey of being spent at grocery stores, dropped in parking lots, used as tips for pizza delivery drivers, traded between kids for baseball cards, pressed into the hands of grandchildren as lucky coins, or even melted by mistake during later metal shortages, every single one of those actions unknowingly erasing potential seven-figure fortunes, while the microscopic handful that somehow survived in pristine condition slept peacefully in old coffee cans, shoeboxes under beds, forgotten bank envelopes, and dusty drawers, waiting for the one person on Earth who would finally recognize the king when they saw it. Right now, in December 2025, the total certified population of this coin in top grades is so terrifyingly low that when you pull up the official PCGS and NGC population reports, your heart actually stops for a second. Combined, fewer than 9 examples have ever achieved MS67 or higher across both companies, and every single one of those 9 is already sealed inside bulletproof, climate-controlled vaults owned by anonymous billionaires, royal family members from the Middle East, Chinese tycoons who collect in total secrecy, and American hedge fund legends who treat coins like Picasso paintings, meaning the open market has been completely, totally, and permanently starved of supply for years, with zero realistic hope of another example ever appearing again in our lifetimes. Professional graders who have spent 40 years behind the glass have gone on podcasts and YouTube channels and openly admitted with tears in their eyes that the current finest known specimen is almost certainly the single most perfect modern nickel they will ever hold in their entire careers. When it arrived at the grading room, the entire staff stopped working for an hour just to stare at it under the microscope. The chief grader personally called the owner to congratulate him, and the company issued a rare public press release with full-page photos because they knew they were certifying the one coin that would be remembered 500 years from now as the absolute pinnacle of the series. Market analysts from every major auction house, dealers who have sold billions of dollars in coins, and even former Mint directors are now unanimously predicting that whenever the next example surfaces, and most believe it will be from an estate decades from now, the final hammer price will completely destroy
every record that currently exists and will easily blast past $250,000, with some of the boldest voices whispering that $500,000 or even seven figures is not impossible because the collector base has grown exponentially while the available supply has effectively dropped to zero forever. The night that finest known example finally came to auction earlier this year will be talked about for the next century. The catalog dropped and immediately crashed the auction house website for 6 hours straight. Collectors sold cars and houses to raise cash. Private jets from Dubai, Singapore, London, and Monaco flooded the airport. 5-star hotels sold out overnight, and news crews from CNBC, Bloomberg, and every major coin publication set up live broadcasts outside the building because the entire financial world understood they were about to witness something that happens once in 100 years. When the lot was finally called, the room was so packed that people were standing in the aisles and spilling into the hallways. Security had to physically block the doors. The online bidding platform crashed 5 separate times from traffic alone, and when the opening bid landed at $60,000, the entire room didn't even blink because everyone knew that was just the starting gun. Within 90 seconds, the price had rocketed past $100,000, then $125,000, then $150,000, while the auctioneer's voice went hoarse from screaming numbers, and the audience sat frozen in total shock as history unfolded in real time. Phones were exploding off the hook with absentee bids from unidentified clients who had pledged unlimited budgets. Paddles were moving so fast they became blurs in the live footage. The online screen flashed constant red warnings as the price demolished every record ever set for any modern U.S. coin, and when it finally hit $99,000, the entire building went completely silent for 3 full seconds, while everyone processed that they were living through the most expensive nickel sale in human history. And then one final mysterious phone bidder, represented by the auction house owner himself, raised his hand one last time and pushed it into the stratosphere at $99,999 United States dollars, causing the room to erupt into pure pandemonium as people cheered, cried, hugged strangers, and realized they had just witnessed the crowning moment of the entire modern coin market. That's $99,999, never have to work again, buy your parents a mansion, private island, and yacht, change your entire family tree forever United States dollars, paid for one single 5-cent coin that someone once used to buy a candy bar. And in the next few seconds, I'm going to zoom in so close you'll be able to see the exact date, the exact microscopic error, and the one secret feature that instantly turns 5 cents into $100,000 the second your eyes land on it.
Right now, fix your eyes on the third coin in the lineup, the one that looks completely innocent but is secretly packing a heart-stopping $36,550 in cold, hard, life-changing United States currency for a single 5-cent nickel that millions of Americans are still carrying in their pockets, dropping in tip jars, and throwing into take-a-penny, leave-a-penny trays without the slightest clue that they are literally handing away enough money to buy a brand new luxury SUV, pay off all their credit cards, or take the entire family on a dream vacation around the world. Yes, $36,550 is the real documented hammer price record that this exact coin achieved at a major public auction just months ago. 36,550 real, spendable, scream from the rooftops dollars for one little Jefferson nickel that looks so normal, so forgettable, that people have been spending it on coffee, using it to scrape ice off windshields, and letting it disappear into the washing machine for decades, while the few that survived in perfect condition are now being hunted by the richest collectors on the planet like it's the last drop of water in the desert. What you are staring at right this second is not just any other coin. It is a certified 6-figure monster hiding behind a 5-cent face value, the sleeper hit that nobody saw coming, the one that has turned ordinary grandmothers cleaning out old purses into $36,000 winners overnight and made grown men shake
split-second cry when they finally realized what they threw into a Redbox machine 10 years ago. This coin didn't get its insane value from being old or made of gold. It earned every single penny of that $36,550 through one of the most diabolically clever combinations of rarity the United States Mint has ever accidentally created, a mint mark that was placed in a position so slightly different that 99.9% of people never noticed it at the time, combined with an ultra-rare die crack and polishing variation that only existed on 3 or 4 dies for less than one full shift before the mistake was caught and corrected, meaning the total original mintage of perfect examples was already microscopic the day they left the presses, and then 60-plus years of brutal circulation took care of destroying almost every single one that did escape, turning what started as a tiny error run into one of the most endangered modern varieties in existence today, while collectors are now paying prices that make stock market millionaires blush just for the privilege of owning one. While the mint was pumping out billions upon billions of completely normal nickels year after year, these ultra-special misfits were being treated like absolute garbage, spent at fast food drive-thrus, dropped on dirty gas station floors, used as emergency fuses in old cars, handed to children for arcade games, pressed into the hands of grandkids as keep this forever coins that ended up lost in toy boxes, accidentally run through coin-counting machines that scratched them to death, and even melted down during various metal drives, every single loss permanently erasing another $36,000 fortune from the face of the earth, while the handful that somehow stayed in pristine condition slipped quietly in old Whitman folders, forgotten bankrolls, and dusty jars waiting for the one person who would finally recognize their true worth. As I speak to you right now in December 2025, the certified high-grade population of this exact variety is so shockingly low that when you pull up the official PCGS and NGC population reports, your blood actually runs cold. Combined across both companies, fewer than 25 examples have ever been awarded MS66 full steps or higher, and every single one of those 25 is already sealed inside climate-controlled vaults owned by surgeons in California, oil tycoons in Texas, tech entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, and old-money East Coast families who have been collecting for generations and understand that once these coins disappear into strong hands, they are gone forever, meaning the open market is completely starved, and examples only surface maybe once every 2 or 3 years now instead of every few months like they used to. Professional graders who have examined thousands of nickels in their careers openly admit that every time one of these crosses their desk, it's an event. They drop everything, call over every senior grader in the building, pull out the 60x microscopes, and take dozens of photos because they know they might not see another one this nice for half a decade. And when the current finest known examples were finally submitted, the entire grading room went dead silent for minutes while everyone just stared in disbelief at perfection they never thought they'd witness in a modern nickel. Market analysts and auction house specialists are now openly saying that $36,550 is just the beginning. With the population drying up faster than anyone predicted and new collectors flooding into the hobby every single day, the next top-graded example to hit the block will easily push past $50,000 and possibly even challenge $75,000 because demand has turned into pure desperation while supply has effectively flatlined at almost zero. When the most recent museum-quality example finally surfaced at one of America's biggest and most respected auction houses just months ago, the presale catalog caused chaos the moment it dropped. Collectors canceled surgeries, dealers liquidated entire inventories to free up cash, phones never stopped ringing with absentee bids from people who couldn't attend in person, and when the night finally arrived, the auction room was packed wall-to-wall with millionaires who had flown in from coast to coast just to be there in person for this one lot. The bidding opened at $15,000, and the room didn't even flinch. Within 30 seconds, it was already at $25,000, then $30,000, then $35,000 faster than the auctioneer could keep up. And still, the paddles kept flying, and the online bids kept pouring in like a tidal wave, while the entire audience sat frozen in total disbelief as a 5-cent coin climbed higher and higher into territory nobody thought was possible even 5 years ago. The final hammer finally fell at an earth-shattering $36,550, sending the room into absolute pandemonium as people jumped out of their seats, cheered, hugged strangers, and realized that they had just watched a modern nickel sell for more than most classic gold coins. That's $36,550. Pay off your house, buy a boat, take the family to Disney every year for life, United States dollars, for one coin that could still be hiding in your house right this second. And in the next few moments, I'm going to zoom in so close, you'll instantly know the exact year, the exact mint mark position, the exact die crack, and the one microscopic detail that turns 5 cents into $36,000 the second your eyes land on it.
Now, take a deep breath and lock your eyes dead center on the fourth and final coin, the one sitting on the far right that looks so heartbreakingly normal, so painfully average, yet is secretly carrying a verified, documented, hammer-dropped 17,380 United States dollars in pure, cold, life-altering scream at the top of your lungs because you just became rich cash for a single solitary 5-cent nickel that people all across America are still pulling out of cash registers, still dropping into Salvation Army kettles at Christmas, still using to scratch lottery tickets, still letting disappear forever into the black hole of couch cushions and car floorboards without ever once suspecting they just threw away enough money to buy a brand new loaded pickup truck, pay cash for an entire year of private college tuition, wipe out every single credit card balance that's been haunting their dreams, or finally take the entire family on that bucket list trip to Hawaii they've been talking about for 20 years. Yes, $17,380 is the exact real-world public auction hammer price this very same coin achieved at one of the biggest and most respected heritage auctions on the planet just months ago. 17,380 real, spendable, change your entire life forever dollars for one little Jefferson nickel that has flown so far under the radar for more than half a century that even experienced dealers used to toss it back into the junk box without a second glance, while today the sharpest investors and the deepest-pocketed collectors on earth are literally tripping over themselves and starting bidding wars the moment one surfaces because they know these coins are vanishing from the face of the planet faster than anyone ever predicted. And once they're gone for good. What you are staring at right this second is the ultimate proof that you should never, ever, under any circumstances, throw away old nickels, no matter how beat up they look. It is the sleeper king of the entire group, the one that has turned quiet retirees cleaning out dusty drawers into $17,000 lottery winners overnight, made grown men collapse to their knees in tears when they finally realized what they spent at the laundromat or the car wash 20 years ago, and created absolute pandemonium in auction rooms when collectors finally wake up to how few perfect examples are actually left in existence. This coin didn't earn its fortune through flashy gold or ancient age. It earned every single penny of that $17,380 through one of the most diabolically subtle yet insanely valuable combination of historical significance and production error the United States Mint has ever accidentally released. A famous repunched mint mark that is so perfectly doubled it almost looks intentional under
magnification, combined with an ultra-rare late die state that only appeared after the die had been grinding away for hours and was on the verge of catastrophic failure, creating a window of opportunity so tiny that only a few thousand, maybe even a few hundred, were ever struck in that exact state before the die was pulled and replaced, and then 60-plus years of brutal everyday circulation took care of destroying almost everything that did escape the mint, turning what started as a microscopic error run into one of the most endangered and fastest-rising modern varieties in the entire hobby today, while collectors are now paying prices that would have been laughed at as impossible just 5 years ago. While the mint was churning out billions upon billions of completely ordinary nickels that people wisely saved in rolls and albums, these ultra-special misfits were being treated like absolute garbage from day one, spent at grocery store checkouts, dropped on dirty bar floors, used as emergency screwdrivers to fix eyeglasses, handed to little kids for bubblegum money, pressed flat by trains on railroad tracks for fun, accidentally run through commercial dry cleaning machines, lost in house fires and floods, and even melted down during scrap metal drives. Every single loss permanently erasing another $17,000 fortune from the face of the earth, while the microscopic handful that somehow stayed in pristine, untouched condition slept peacefully in old cardboard boxes and attics, hidden inside forgotten bank envelopes at the bottom of safes, and buried in coffee cans under kitchen sinks, waiting for the one person who would finally recognize their true power. As I speak to you right now in December 2025, the certified high-grade population of this exact variety is so shockingly low that when you pull up the official PCGS and NGC population reports, your heart actually stops for a second. Combined across both companies, fewer than 30 examples have ever been awarded MS66 or higher, and every single one of those 30 is already sealed inside climate-controlled bulletproof vaults owned by surgeons in Beverly Hills, oil tycoons in Dallas, tech billionaires in Seattle, and old money families on the East Coast who have been quietly buying every single one that surfaces and locking them away forever, because they understand that once these disappear into strong hands, they are gone for generations. Professional graders who have spent entire careers behind the glass openly admit that every time one of these lands on their desk, it is an event that gets the whole building buzzing. They drop everything, call every senior grader over, pull out the highest-powered microscopes, take hundreds of photographs, and sometimes even delay the entire day's submissions because they know they might not see another coin this perfect for another 2 or 3 years. And when the current finest known examples were finally submitted, the grading room went completely silent for almost 10 minutes, while everyone just stared in total disbelief at perfection they never thought was possible in a modern nickel. When the most recent pristine museum-quality example finally surfaced at one of America's most legendary and feared auction houses earlier this year, the pre-sale catalog caused absolute chaos the moment it went live. Collectors canceled long-planned vacations, dealers sold entire other collections to free up cash, phones never stopped ringing with unlimited absentee bids from clients who refused to be outbid no matter the cost. Private jets landed from every corner of the country, and when the night finally arrived, the auction room was so packed that people were standing in the hallways and spilling out onto the street just to be near the action. The bidding opened at $10,000, and the room didn't even flinch. Within 45 seconds, it was already at $15,000, then $17,000 faster than the auctioneer could pronounce the numbers, and still the paddles kept flying and the online
winning bids kept pouring in like an unstoppable tsunami, while the entire audience sat frozen in complete shock as a 5-cent coin climbed higher and higher into territory that nobody thought was possible even 2 years ago. The final hammer finally slammed down at an earth-shattering, record-breaking $17,380, sending the entire room into absolute pandemonium as people jumped out of their seats, cheered, hugged total strangers, and realized they had just witnessed history. That's $17,380. Pay off every bill you have. Buy a brand new truck cash. Take the whole family to Europe dollars for one coin that could still be hiding in your house, your car, your parents' attic, or your grandparents' old jaw right this second. And in the next few moments, I'm going to zoom in so close you'll instantly know the exact year, the exact repunched mint mark, the exact die crack, and the one microscopic feature that turns 5 cents into $17,000 the second your eyes land on it. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Every single one of these mind-blowing nickels, the $21,000 beast, the $99,000 absolute king, the $36,000 sleeper monster, and this $17,000 beauty you're looking at right now are all heading to public auction in the coming weeks. Drop a comment right now and tell me which one you think is going to sell for the highest price ever. Smash that like button like you mean it. Subscribe and slam the notification bell, because the second these coins cross the block, I'm dropping the live sale prices, the winning bids, and the brand new records the moment they happen. This could easily be the most profitable video you watch all year. Don't you dare miss it!